You can learn English grammar through books, going to a classroom, on a computer or through apps, or by travelling to a country where they speak English. But what is the best way to learn grammar? I've been teaching English for 25 years, and this is what I think you should do. First of all, start with sentence structure, not tenses. Most course books start by teaching tenses, and I think this is a mistake. Here's why. Follow this scenario with me. What did you do yesterday? I went shopping. If it was for tomorrow, we could say, what are you doing tomorrow? And she would answer, I am going shopping. In both of these cases, the grammar is correct. But what about if the answers were slightly different? I go shopping yesterday, or shopping yesterday I went. You have to consider this. When you get started with learning English grammar, communication is more important than accurate tenses. So which of these extra answers communicated successfully? It was the first one. I go shopping yesterday. And that is because it followed this pattern. When the tense is incorrect, but the sentence structure is correct, meaning is often still clear. In the following, we understand exactly what the person means, even though the tenses are wrong. I go shopping today, I go shopping yesterday, I go shopping tomorrow. The reason we understand, even though go is not in the correct tense, is for two reasons. First of all, we have the time words, today, yesterday, and tomorrow. Where we see yesterday, we know we're talking about past time. Where we see tomorrow, we know we're talking about future time. So getting the tense right was not necessary for understanding here. The second reason we understood is because the sentence structure was correct here, subject followed by verb. Compare with the following example, where the tense is correct, but the sentence structure is incorrect. Shopping tomorrow, I will go. Here, the meaning is unclear. And when the tense is correct, but the sentence structure is incorrect, meaning is often unclear. Why is that the case with this example? Well, it leaves us wondering what the speaker meant. Did they mean someone is shopping tomorrow? We don't know who because I is in the wrong place here in the sentence structure. Or do they mean I will go after the shopping? Is that why I will go comes at the end? Because shopping tomorrow comes first and then I will go is after. So maybe I will go is after shopping. Or perhaps this is two separate sentences. Shopping tomorrow, I will go. So perhaps shopping tomorrow is telling us about the future. I will go is the next activity. We're not sure because the sentence structure is wrong, even though the tense is correct in each of these occasions. So before anything else, when you learn English grammar, make sure you understand the basics of sentence structure in English. The second thing you must do to learn English grammar well is see grammar learning as a skill, not information. Look at this man here. He didn't just learn about juggling, he actually did juggling. He saw it as a skill, and by practicing over and over and over again, he got better. And languages are just the same. When you speak a language, this is also a skill. When you speak English, you are practicing a skill of taking information that's in your brain and bringing it to your mouth and making the two work together. So knowledge is not enough to learn English grammar. You have to see it as a skill, and this has some implications for what you should do. Firstly, don't learn once and then move on. The juggler couldn't do that. The juggler couldn't read the book telling him or her how to juggle, and then they would be able to juggle successfully. No, a skill needs practice. Therefore, you need to learn cyclically. Look at the picture below. Here you're going round in a circle back to where you started, and you need to do that many times when you're learning English. Learn one aspect of English, move on to another, then another, and keep going until you get back to the beginning where you get to the same aspect of grammar where you started. You'll find that you know it better than you did the first time, but you still need to work a bit more to get it perfected in both your knowledge and your use as a skill. Number 3, always do something with your learning. William Glasser was a famous psychiatrist, and he discovered this about learning. We learn 10% of what we read, 20% of what we hear, 30% of what we see, 50% of what we see and hear, 70% of what we discuss, 80% of what we experience, and 95% of what we teach others. And I have found this to be very true when I have been teaching grammar in an English classroom. Notice that the first 50% is read, hear, and see. These are what are called receptive skills. This is when we receive the language. But the 70, 80 and 95% require us to do something, discuss, experience, teach others. And so those aspects of learning actually are more productive than the receptive skills of see, hear and read. We call skills that we do productive skills. So you need to use productive skills when you are learning English grammar. So there are some implications. When you learn something, do something with it quickly. Make sure it's not just receptive knowledge. Make sure as soon as you learn something in your mind, you're doing something with it, and that will boost your learning. If you can, learn with others. This is where a classroom experience is really useful. But you don't have to just be in a classroom. Find anyone else who's also learning English. It could be a friend, someone in your town, or it could be someone you meet online through chatting or through video calls of some sort. And also create an immersion experience for yourself. Because of the internet, you can now do this with your own life. Set the language of your mobile phone to English. When you read news, do it in English. All the media you encounter on your computer, use English as much as possible. Create that sense that you are in a world that is all English, and that will increase the speed at which your learning is effective, because you will no longer simply be receiving, you will be entering in, you will be experiencing it. And these are some of the principles that I try to put into practice on my grammar course, Perfect English Grammar. First of all, I teach the points. Then I get you to practice using them in tasks. Then there are speaking exercises where you get a chance to say out what you've learnt, and then go back to each aspect of grammar you've learnt to check again, recommending further learning if necessary. Point 4 is make it real. Many people nowadays learn English through apps on mobile phones. Some of them are really good, but a lot of the popular ones have this problem. They use examples of English that have no relation to the person who's using the app. For example, the ironing board is old-fashioned. I lent my reptiles to a conservationist. These are two sentences that no one is likely to ever say or use. And this causes a problem because when we learn, it's better if it's to do with us. We remember things that are to do with us more, and we remember things that are real to the world more. So here's a better way to learn grammar. Here's a lady who has a diary of things that she does every day. At 7 a.m. she feeds her cat, and at 8 a.m. she empties the dishwasher. So if she's learning English, she could use sentences like these. I always feed my cat at 7 a.m. This could be if she's learning words to do with frequency, like always. Or with the dishwasher, I get really frustrated when the dishwasher isn't emptied. This could be to do with the passive form, is empty or isn't emptied. If she uses sentences like these when she's learning English, they will be related to her own life, they'll make more sense to her, and we all know that when you tell or hear a story, you remember it better than information that's not connected to you. So make it real in these ways. Put your learning into a story about yourself. Learn through realistic situations, not ones that will probably never happen. And number 5, love your mistakes. We don't normally love mistakes, do we? When we make a mistake, we usually feel sad. It demotivates us. Sometimes it makes us want to give up. But make sure you don't do this if you want to learn grammar in the best way. Instead, see your mistakes positively. When you make a mistake, you're one step away from getting it right. So after you make a mistake, make it your first thought to study again, practice speaking again with the correct language, and this time you're far more likely to get it right. Because if you've made a mistake and you're aware of it, your brain is more likely to remember the correction next time because it's become such a big deal to you. So don't hate your mistakes. Don't let them discourage you. The best way to learn grammar is to have a fantastic attitude that expects to make mistakes and sees mistakes as part of the learning process. So, were books or classrooms or computer apps or going to a country the best way to learn grammar? Well, the truth is they are all useful, but they are not enough on their own. With each of these things, you need to make sure the 5 things that I've mentioned through this video happen. First of all, start with sentence structure, then see grammar as a skill, not just words to know in your mind. Do something with it whenever you learn, make it real, and love your mistakes.